right, welcome in everybody. We are just barely getting started here. We are going live to talk about autism, to answer questions about autism. If you have a child with autism, if you think your child might have autism, or if you think that you might have autism, you're in the right spot. We are a village. We are here having conversations, hard conversations. We laugh together, we cry together. We end up getting a lot of people in here to have these conversations about autism. It's a good thing to have you guys here and have conversations. We usually get a couple hundred people in here, but it takes a minute. Good morning, Carters. Good morning, Lexi. Good morning, Sarah. Good to see you guys. Good to see you all. Be tapping on that screen. It does get the word out to more people and lets people know that this is a good stream to be following today. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing today? Good morning, Lexi. Good to see you. Good to see you. It is 10 a.m. in Utah. I live in Utah, if you're new here. And I have 2 kids with autism. And it's been hard because my daughter got diagnosed with autism about 3 weeks ago. And we're still waiting on the official paperwork that says that she has autism. She was diagnosed. The psychologist told her and told us. But we don't have the paperwork yet, so we can't start services. And so my son is currently at ABA right now, but my daughter can't be there right now. And so she's home. But anyway, that's what we're doing. Good morning, Bad. Good morning, Destiny. All right, for all those just coming in, how about why don't you guys put in the chat what state you're from? Who do we got here? Where are you living? Put your state. Or the country if you're not in the United States. Oh, you're an England user. That's amazing. Oh, your son is 20. Be kind to animals. Yes. Okay. Adult services. We got to come back to that. Be kind. I want to talk about that. Destiny, haircut. I did get a haircut. Yes, I did. All right. What age was your son diagnosed? My son was diagnosed at age of 2, right before his 2nd birthday. Iowa, Arizona, New York, LA, the Netherlands, Italy. Amazing. Okay, user says my son was diagnosed 2 weeks ago at age 3. That's amazing, user. Welcome into the village of being an autism parent. Yeah, my goal is to get haircuts enough that people don't pay attention to it. So thanks for calling it out, Destiny. You ruined my whole plan here. Tells me I didn't get one soon enough. All right. My son is having trouble adjusting in school. He cries a lot at drop off. Ravina, that is so hard. Oh my goodness. How old is your son, Ravina? How old is your son? Dan says, how do they test for autism? So autism, they test autism. First, you go through a pre-screener. So a lot of times kids, toddlers, they go through these pre-screeners with their pediatrician. And these screeners tell you if you have a low, moderate, or high risk of autism at 18 months and 24 months. Then your pediatrician refers you out to go and get an official diagnosis of autism. And during that evaluation, they do what's called the ADOS or the CARS. And during those evaluations, they're observing your child and putting them in situations to see how they react. Seeing how they do with joint attention, seeing how they do with repetitive behaviors. The evaluations are tied to the diagnostic criteria. So, all right, everybody. Hello, Melissa. Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. He's in kindergarten. Ravina. Okay. And how many times has he been to school? Is this a new thing that he started crying? Has it been ever since he started? What's going on there? So many services now compared to 20 years ago. God bless all of you. Yeah, be kind to animals. Let me touch on this. Be kind to animals, because you say you have a 20-year-old. I look at these young adults, 20-year-olds and older, who have autism as kind of the lost boys, where when they were 2 and 3, ABA wasn't around. These occupational therapy wasn't widely around. Like it wasn't available for them, and insurance didn't cover it for them to get this early intervention services. And so I really feel for these people. That's why in the company that I run, we actually have a clinic dedicated to teens and adults, because a lot of them are these lost boys that never had those services. So I'm wondering what, yeah. Oh, Michelle. Yes, be kind to animals, Michelle. Okay, so Michelle, I'm curious, what services are you waiting for your son? Did you apply for like your state waiver that can, provide respite or group homes or any of those services, the HCBS services? And what state are you in? Dan, I work in CPS and want to learn more about this topic. Dan, kids with autism are very often, I mean, very often associated with the CPS program. So, it's, unfortunately true. I'm glad you're learning about it. Are you a caseworker? What do you do with CPS, Dan? Let's see. Oh, yeah, DDD. Yep. Great. Every state calls it something different. And so in Jersey, it must be called DDD. That's what you're waiting on right now. Okay. I hope the wait list isn't terrible there. In Utah, you're looking at 10 to 20 years of waiting, you guys. It's wild. Yeah, Dan's a caseworker. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, everybody. We're just getting started. Let me give a little bit of an introduction. If you are new here, let me introduce myself. I'm the father of 2 kids with autism. I'm a board-certified behavior analyst. I have a master's degree in autism. I've worked with people with autism since 2013, and currently I'm the CEO of a company that provides autism supports in the state of Utah. And my platform is trying to provide practical and simple answers and education around autism. None of this fear-mongering, and no trying to pressure parents to buy stuff or to try fringe therapies and supports. So that's what we do. I go live every single day for a couple of hours. These first few minutes in the live are really important to build up the following throughout the whole live stream. And so if you guys can be tapping on the screen, that would be really important for this stream. As soon as we get to 20,000 likes, I do go through the what is it called? The daily news of the day, the breaking new autism news of the day. And so let's get to 20,000 likes as quickly as we can. Let's be commenting. If you're brand new here, put FYP on the page. If I just came across your For You page, I want to know who just barely found me and got to know me. Put FYP in the chat. Ginger, I love your videos. Oh my gosh, Ginger, thank you. Okay, we got some people that are saying FYP that just barely found me. Jose, Dan, Cratter, Jav, thank you. Sharkbait, Jessna, Geo, Grandmom. Oh my gosh, thank you guys for being here. It really does mean a lot. It means a lot that you guys are here. Ermita, I love this page. I have learned so much. Thank you for educating me. Ermita, that means a lot. Thank you so much. Any training or better ways to introduce my daughter to the everyday way of life without me? Bobby, that is what we are all trying to figure out, is how do we prepare a child for the real world when the real world is not designed for people with autism? That's the struggle. That is a struggle. I was diagnosed 2 years ago with autism. I've been watching your content and I like it. Oh my gosh, Nameless. Thank you so much. You were diagnosed 2 years ago. Wonderful, wonderful. Guys, I made a video yesterday, I think it was, about how adults are just now getting diagnosed with autism at an increasing rate. This idea that there's an epidemic of autism is not true, you guys. We do not have any data that supports the idea that there's a mass explosion in autism. What we do know is that more and more people are getting diagnosed. And what's happening is, especially women who are learning about all of this are realizing they were high masking throughout their entire life and have autism. There's actually research behind this that shows that that girls mask earlier than boys and kind of conceal the autism symptoms, although it's uncomfortable for them. All right, you guys, let's see here. Algie says, is autism curable? What do you guys think in the chat? Tell me, can you cure autism? Can you cure autism? I'll go ahead and answer this one. You cannot cure autism. You cannot reverse autism. You can just support autism. You support autism. And, but I think what people want to say is, can people with autism progress? Can people with autism learn and grow? Yes. Yes, they can. People with autism can learn, they can grow. If you have a little kid and he can't communicate well, he's most likely going to go on and learn and be able to communicate down the road. Why do people say not to tell people you have autism, that you're using it as a crutch? I don't know. Have you experienced that, Bix? Are people telling you not to tell others that you have autism? Look, here's what I like. Here's the approach that I like is people with autism, we shouldn't use autism as the excuse of like, you can do anything you want because you have autism. And I don't think that's what happens usually. But what you should be doing is when you bring up that you have autism, it's because you need support in a specific way to be successful. And so at work is a good example. You don't need to say, I have autism, so that you don't have to do a task that is part of your job. You need to say, I have autism and I need support in this way so that you can complete the required tasks in front of you. And so as long as it's accommodations that you are looking for to be able to do all the things that you're supposed to do, like that's a great way to look at it. Okay. Well, I'm curious, who do we have in here? Do we have, if you're an autism parent, maybe I'll do it this way. If you're an autism parent, how old is your child with autism right now? Or suspected autism if they're not diagnosed yet. How old is your child? I'm just trying to get a feel for who we have here, what ages we can guide the discussions. If we have more adults or teenagers or little children, we can kind of target things a little differently today. I'm seeing 2 to 9 so far. $22 star. Amazing. Yeah, so 2 to 22 now that we have. 17-year-old, oh my gosh. 48, okay, yes. Here's something that we don't think about a lot, is that autism doesn't stop when a child is no longer a child. As a child goes through puberty, there's unique challenges. As a child grows into adulthood, there's new challenges that come. And you have to keep that in mind. There are new challenges. Guys, we are at almost 6,000 likes. Just a reminder, we need to get to 20,000 likes. And then I am going to go through the breaking autism news of the day. This one I think is a little bit more positive than yesterday's news. Yesterday's news was pretty sad. Let me touch on it for just a second because I think that it's a good thing that we're all aware of. I reported on a very unfortunate event of a drowning of a child with autism, a 9-year-old in Kentucky who sadly is no longer with us. She had eloped. Parents were looking for her. Law enforcement was looking for her, and she was found in a pond. And it was extremely touching to me because I have done a lot for the autism community around water safety. I said this before. One of the clinics that I bought the building because I wanted I wanted there to be an indoor pool to be able to work on water safety. Kids with autism are up to 160 times more likely to drown than their neurotypical peers. And so water safety is really important. We actually also have a free, 100% free training that is linked in my bio that is happening on Wednesday, you guys. 2 days from now. I have the best of the best adaptive swim teacher coming and giving a live presentation to anyone who signs up. It doesn't matter where you live, who you are. You come, you watch. They're going to talk about water safety. It's linked in my bio. Go ahead and check it out. It's very important that we look at the water safety stuff. Miriam says, does leucovorin work? Okay. That's a good question. Look, so it depends on who you ask. There's a lot of parents who really feel like leucovorin was a game changer for them. Now, when you look at the randomized clinical trials, there's not enough to be able to say yes or no to that question. And so what I will say is that the randomized clinical trials have mixed results. The randomized clinical trials, there were 5. One of them was retracted due to false data, or not false, but miscalculated data. And so there's 4 randomized clinical trials. This is mostly built off of Dr. Fry's work. And I mean, it's interesting stuff. I'm still optimistic about it, but so far it's been pretty mixed. Leucovorin gained popularity in the announcement 6 months ago in September from Trump and RFK Jr., who in the same meeting talked about the risks of Tylenol, which was later debunked by further studies, and then promoted leucovorin, which I think we're all excited about to see what the research says. The research is not currently there for FDA approval. FDA approved leucovorin for a genetic cerebral folate deficiency, but not what is commonly tested for with the FRAT testing or with kids with autism. So, yeah, this is something where if I were you, if you're interested in leucovorin, I highly recommend that the way that you do this is through what is it called? Through clinical trials instead of just testing it on your own child. There's something called expectation bias, okay? This is a real thing that you need to be aware of, that if you put a lot of money into something and you have heard positive results, then you are looking for every little thing to go well with your child and then attributing those things that went well to the thing that you tried. And we see this a lot with like the autism detox or stem cell therapy, or, any of these things that cost, $10,000, $20,000. You're putting all these resources in, and then you have this expectancy bias of like, you put this much into it, this much effort, you're going to look for these results. And so I'm excited when people say that they've seen results, but I'm more excited and when there's randomized clinical trials that support those same things. So right now, leucovorin is not something that is widely recommended for autism. All right, you guys, we're at 12,000 likes, only 8,000 likes away from doing our what is it called? Our daily live or daily news of the day. What's your thoughts on the stem cell? Well, I think it has good theory behind it. But unfortunately, the trials that they've done have shown pretty mixed results. It has not been convincing enough to justify that kind of expense. It has nowhere near the research and effectiveness of like early intervention therapies, and it's so expensive. I would much rather put that $15,000 towards building out the dream play area for my child. That's what I'm looking at doing right now. Like, how do I set up a situation? My son's been climbing on everything, you guys. Do you have any climbers? Put climb in the chat if your child climbs on everything. Because my son right now, he is climbing on everything. And in my mind, he would be so well regulated. He would be safer if he had a massive room with, safe places to climb, to jump. Yes. Okay. Climb and the jumpers, climbs and bruises. Yes. Okay. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. The way to help that is not to go do the stem cell therapy. The way to help that is you go and you create a safe space for your child to be able to do that safely. So, if you're looking at spending that much on therapy for your child, a stem cell treatment, I'd say you'd probably be better off to just go and, go get a membership somewhere, the indoor playground, to go and have them play. Where do I get latest info on individuals with PDA within school settings? Okay, there is a great resource for PDA. PDANorthAmerica.org is where you're going to want to go. Let me tell you about what PDA is, okay? Who here has never heard of PDA? Put PDA in the chat if you've never heard of that. PDA. I wanna see if it makes sense for me to dive into that a little bit. Put PDA if you want me to touch on PDA right now, if you've never heard of PDA. I'd love to talk about it if it's something that I can help with. So PDA is pathological demand avoidance. Pathological demand avoidance is a profile of autism recognized in the UK, widely accepted in the United States, but not in the DSM. I would not be surprised, though, if it was in the next iteration. What pathological demand avoidance is an extreme aversion to authority pressure. Another way to look at it is an extreme demand for your own autonomy. To put this in a simple example, what pathological demand avoidance actually looks like is when you go and you tell your child, hey, go, it's time to go, please go put your shoes on. That simple instruction that you just gave your child, his body receives that demand the same way as if you would have just told him to go put his hand on a hot stove. And telling them to go and do something, it's not just like they want to be defiant. It's way too often confused with compliant with defiance. But it's not that. It's this like very real nervous system response of going into fight or flight at the when you are putting in any kind of demand placed on them. Now that doesn't mean like it's not that putting shoes on is bad. You know, there's ways that we work around this. If he had an alarm clock for when it's time to put on your shoes, he would very gladly go and put his shoes on because they came up with it. It was their idea. It wasn't someone else telling them to do it. So it's not necessarily the thing itself that they're trying to avoid, but it's this, not having autonomy over yourself, not having someone else in authority trying to correct them. That is the struggle here. Now, let's see here. You in the United States, you cannot have an official diagnosis of PDA. Sometimes they will mention that you have PDA profile in the diagnostic report, but it's not labeled there within the diagnostic criteria because it's not yet in the DSM. Natati Wamolef says, what are the steps to take if I suspect my son is on the spectrum? Who can I see for a diagnosis? Wonderful question. Okay, I want to know, put me in the chat if your child, you suspect autism, but they're not yet diagnosed. Put me in the chat. I'm wondering how many people are in this situation. Okay. So if you Biggs, I'll get to that in a minute, okay? I say something and offend someone, and I apologize. I have filter issues. I have autism. Yeah, I'll get there. Okay, so All those people putting me in the chat, you think that your child may have autism. Now, there are barriers to getting a diagnosis, but let me walk you through the steps. I talk through the parts of the autism journey, okay? That's how I look and interact with this community, is I have broken down the parts of this journey into 5 simple parts. The first part is you need a village. Even before you worry about getting your child diagnosed, you need your village. If you're married, you need a supportive spouse who is sharing the mental load. You need friends, you need neighbors, you need a community online that can help you through these things. So build your village. The second step is getting your autism diagnosis for your child. So how do you do this? Well, the very first thing to do is take an autism screener. If you have a toddler, that should be the MChat is the gold standard. I actually have it linked in my bio, a free version of taking the MChat. It's linked in my bio. That tells you if your child is low, moderate, or high risk for autism. After that, your pediatrician also should be doing that same evaluation at 18 months and 24 months if they're practicing best practices pediatricians. That's what they do. So fill out a screener. If it says high risk of autism, then you go and you look online for any psychologist that can diagnose autism. You don't have to go wherever your pediatrician refers you. You can call around. Where pediatricians refer you to probably has a long wait list because all the pediatricians refer them there. And you're going to have much better luck getting off of those wait lists to go onto or getting off those wait lists. You're going to have a better chance at some of those smaller psychologists who also can do evaluations just as well. I've gone to those with a huge wait list. I've gone to those that are private pay, and I've gone to those that are just kind of undiscovered, and the experience is the same everywhere. In fact, the worst experience I had was with the one that had the longest wait list. So my biggest recommendation to you is find a psychologist, and you just Google autism evaluations near me. When you type that in, you'll see a bunch of ABA companies, okay, saying they can diagnose your kid. It's okay to go there to get the diagnosis. You don't have to get ABA there. And legally, they're not allowed to push you towards their own ABA. They have to separate them. And if they do push you, they are breaking the law. Okay, you cannot funnel clients into your own ABA practice. Those are separate things, getting a diagnosis and doing ABA. But sometimes an ABA company might do both things. And so don't hesitate to use them for a diagnosis, even if you have no intention of getting ABA. So call around everywhere. I would not settle, personally, I would not settle for a wait list over 3 months. Depending on the area, maybe 6 months, but I would travel hours before waiting 6 months. If someone could get me in next month, but I had to travel 8 hours to get there, I would do it. Typically, I tell you guys, look at a 5-hour radius. Let's get an evaluation done. Let's get answers. Let's get clarity. Destiny says, and call them regularly. Yes, if you think you're on a wait list and you haven't heard from them in a month, you're not on a wait list. Be that annoying parent. Call them. Call them every week. See where you are on the wait list. Let them know, hey, if there's any cancellations, let me know. I'll get my child in. Why are we in a rush to get this diagnosis? Let me tell you, it's because of early intervention. We want to be able to get early intervention and services as soon as we can. And you can't get that if you don't have that diagnosis. Yeah, Destiny, I agree. If you haven't heard from them in over 30 days, assume you're not on the wait list. Bix, let me talk to you for a second. I know you're anxious for me to talk to you about this. Bix is wondering, it sounds like Bix has autism and has offended people before. And it sounds like they were not a fan of him saying hey, I have autism. Please forgive me. Let me give you a bit of advice here, Bix, is instead of saying hey, don't be offended, I have autism, because to other people that may sound like you don't care that it bothered them. You don't care that it offended them. The approach that you should take is, hey, look, I have autism. I'm so sorry I offended you. Can you help me better understand how I offended you? I want to avoid doing that again. And being open about it, of what you didn't understand and what you would like support with, is going to go a lot better than being defensive about it and saying like, oh, don't be mad, I just have autism. And so do it as a like, help me understand kind of a thing. Yeah, of course, Bix, of course. Here to help, here to help. All right, everybody. Oh, we are at 17,000 likes. We are just 3 likes away from being able to go and get a doing the breaking news of the day. If you don't know, a quick introduction. I do this about every 15, 20 minutes. My name is Kylan. I live in Utah. I love autism. I love everything about autism. I enjoy learning about autism. I have 2 kids who are on the spectrum, and they're beautiful. They're amazing. I would not cure them of autism if that was an option. There's a lot of things I would cure. I would cure the world of their not accepting of autism, but I wouldn't cure them. I'm also a board-certified behavior analyst. I've worked with kids with autism since 2013, and I'm currently the CEO of a company that provides services to people with autism throughout the state of Utah. And I love coming on these lives and building this village, you guys. This is a village. We are supporting each other. Everyone who has a child with autism or who has autism, the very first step that we need to take is build your village. And this is part of it. We are each other's village, you guys. I hope you see that. All right, we are 1,000 away from being able to do the breaking news of the day. Let me go ahead and read some other comments here. Please talk about the school support, especially teachers and support teams in the class. Guys, school is interesting. Tell me if right now, put 1 in the chat if you are happy with how school is going for your child. Put 2 in the chat if you're having issues with how your autistic child, how their services are going at school. 1 or 2. 2 is school is not good. 1 is school is good. I'm curious. Do you feel like your child is getting the support that they need? It's pretty mixed right now, but I think I'm seeing more 2s. Really? Oh my goodness. That breaks my heart. That breaks my heart to see. And a lot of people are confused. Okay. A lot of people are confused. If they have neurotypical kids, they're confused as to why kids with disabilities, why we have such ill feelings towards school or IEPs. And it's because a lot of us, we don't feel like our kids have adequate support that they need. Okay, so let me tell you about my child. He got diagnosed when he was 2 years old. He had early intervention services. At the age of 3, he got handed over to the school system. And let me tell you what services he gets right now. At school, he gets 4 days a week at school. And he gets a one-on-one aide who is trained in ABA, and they run ABA programs all day with him. And he loves it. He loves school, and it is an amazing support. If that was not the support he was getting, he would not be going to school. If he was in a classroom where he wasn't getting one-on-one, he wouldn't be at school right now because he has more that he needs to learn before he can go to school. Oh my goodness, guys, we are already at 22,000 likes. That means, you know what time it is? It is time for breaking news of the day. So let's jump into that portion of the stream. Carrie says, how did you get ABA in school? Well, it's not ABA paid for by my health insurance. ABA doesn't want health insurance ABA done in schools because technically by law that would put pressure on them to pay for that medical ABA. Instead, it's a classroom, early intervention classroom put on by the school that's trained by ABA professionals. So it's not a BCBA and RBT, it's a special ed teacher and paraprofessionals, but they're trained in the ABA model and an ABA curriculum. And so it's really cool. Breaking news of the day, you guys, comes from a brand new research article that was just barely published. You probably have not heard about this. This is going to be the first place that you hear about this, you guys. This was just barely published over the weekend. Published in the Journal of Clinical Child and Adolescent Psychology. The title is Proportion and Profile of Autistic Children Not Acquiring Spoken Language Despite Receiving Evidence-Based Early Interventions. That's a lot of talk to say there was a really solid study that was done and published over the weekend in a legitimate journal article talking about, one, how often your children in early intervention learn to speak. And what are the common trends in those children who do learn to speak versus those who don't learn to speak during early intervention. Guys, this is a big study, and it's not a small study too. I think it was over 700 participants in this study. You guys, this is one of those studies that is going to be cited for years, and it was just published over the weekend. Let me tell you some of the basics here. So most of the kids that were starting were about 30 months, so 2.5 years old, and the children were non-speaking at baseline. Okay. They received evidence-based early autism interventions, including developmental interventions, behavioral interventions, naturalistic interventions. This is ABA, very much ABA-based. Minimum intensity, 10 hours a week, though some had up to 40 hours, and they received treatment for 6 months to 24 months. And they have very clear statistics here. Guys, this is the fascinating part. And also, by the way, thank you all for the heart me's. I don't know if you know this, but that means the world to me that you guys are doing heart me's. I also, guys, I kind of broke down a little bit yesterday because I was looking at my TikTok and I found that I have 2 super fans. And I didn't know what a super fan was, but it's people who pay monthly to support me. And that blew me away that people would do that. I know 2 doesn't sound like a lot, but it just means the world to me that there are some people out there who think of wanting to support me like that, and it means the world. So I just want to say thank you to you guys. Okay, back to this breaking news article. I was actually surprised by these statistics and a little bit concerned. This study showed that of those 700, only 2/3 developed single words or more language. 1/3 throughout all that early intervention remained minimally speaking or non-speaking. That's a little scary to me. 1/3 of kids with autism in this study who were non-speaking remained non-speaking. 50% progressed to conversational speech during that time period. Now, you should know that kids can progress beyond that. This wasn't saying forever they would be like this, but during the, I think, 2 years of this study, that's where it was. So what can we take away from this? Well, let's look at some of the factors. One of the strongest predictors that your child is going to progress rapidly with communication. This is fascinating, you guys. One very, very strong predictor that your child is going to explode and expand their communication is motor imitation. Wild. This includes copying gestures, clapping, nodding, imitating simple actions. If your child is doing that, this is one of the strongest predictors of how your child is going to do progressing to spoken language. And so motor imitation, so copying what you do. Did they release all data of mimicking, etc.? I'm not sure, Lexi, of what you're asking there. Maybe put it a different way and pin it again. Okay. Children with stronger imitation skills were more likely to develop spoken language. Pre-verbal imitation skills may serve as a foundation for speech learning. Fascinating, guys. This is fast. I love this study. I mean, we can learn a lot from this, and I haven't even gotten to the biggest part yet. There's a very big part. Okay, we're at the big part. We have always talked about the intensity. Oh, the nonverbal children, did they progress at all? Okay, so that's a good question. I don't have the data on how much they did support this. One of the limitations of this study is they also didn't show if there was progress with using an AAC device or something like that. And so these 33% very well could have increased their communication through AAC devices or signing, but this was talking about vocal language. Okay. You have heard that you need to do 40 hours a week of ABA, that intensity, hours per week, is one of the most important factors. Here was a finding that no one expected them to find in this study. Okay? In this study, they found that weekly therapy intensity was not strongly associated with outcomes. Wild, you guys. That is wild. That between 10 hours a week and 40 hours a week, there was not a drastic difference, a statistically significant difference in outcomes based on 10 hours a week and 40 hours a week. There's other studies that conflict with this, and so there's some things that we'll need to replicate and stuff, but it's an interesting direction for sure. But here's the kicker. One of the strongest predictors, and this is within your control, guys. If you're looking at this and being like, how do I make sure that my child is not in that 1/3 who needs to, who does not progress to communication? This is one of the things within your control that is strongly correlated with better outcomes of language. And what they found was that longer duration of therapy led to better outcomes. So it wasn't 40 hours a week. It was those who did this early intervention for 2 years instead of just 6 months had much better outcomes. And so if all you can do, okay, is 10 hours a week, and that's all you can do, find a therapist that can do it, but stick with it for 2-3 years, okay? This is fascinating, you guys. Anyway, that is the news of the day. Let me know if you guys have any questions about this. Hopefully it gives you some insight that I guess the biggest takeaways are, one, motor imitation is a good predictor of language, and if you're going to grow in language. The second thing is that don't overstress the 40 hours a week. If all you can do is 10 hours a week, you can do that. But also be ready to be into these early interventions, these therapies, for long periods of time. This is not a 6-month plan. We're talking years, okay? All right, let's answer some questions here in the chat. Let me make sure that I have the other platform ready to go. Okay. I need to... Hold tight, everybody, for just 1 second. I am so sorry to the people over on YT that I had it pulled up and then my chat disappeared. I just barely pulled it up. We have we went to speech therapy from 15 to 18 months and it was a failure. He never wanted anything to do with her and would consistently just cry. Now he started back post-diagnosis at 21 months. And after about 6 weeks of going, he now knows his therapist and enjoys being there. That should say 31 months, not 21. Yeah. Okay, so a good indicator of if your child is going to be progressing is if they enjoy going to that place. If it's hard to get them to go there, to any therapy, they have some things they need to be working on before they can work and benefit your child. Okay. Jackie says, are there autism signs in babies? Yes, there are. Yes, absolutely. There are signs of autism that in babies, and that's where we need to be looking, you guys. You need to be looking very early on in your child to be looking out for these signs. Now, know that you can't diagnose it till after 12 months, usually till after 18 months, but you can be looking for these signs. some of those signs. Put it in the chat, you guys. What are the signs that you saw earliest in your child? This is important, you guys. I ask this quite often because there's new people here every day, and they have children that they are worried about. And it is important that we show what are the signs that we saw in our children that indicated that it could be autism. Destiny says, missed every milestone. Yes. No eye contact, hand flapping, not speaking. Sierra says, question from ABA student, do you think the BDS modules are helpful? Yeah, the BDS modules are great. Let me tell you, the one to do is ABA Wizard. And I tell you that because I own that company. I'm the founder of ABA Wizard. The app is super cheap. I made it because I wanted at the time it was $10 resource that anyone could have. So anyway, that's for people in school to become BCBAs. All right, you guys, let me go ahead and let me share a little bit about the first signs I saw with my child. What I saw was he wasn't responding to his name. That was one of the first things. The second is pointing, that he didn't point and he didn't look where I was trying to point. And then a lot of stimming. Yeah, attracted to light, Stitch. This is a thing. So a lot of kids have they'll look at lights when they have autism. Now all kids do some of these things, right? Like all kids will occasionally flap their hands. All kids will look at lights. All kids will, sometimes not be interested when you call their name. But when it becomes such a common thing that it seems to be preventing their development or concerning, then it might be something to be looking at. Yeah, keyword is excessive behaviors. Yeah, I agree. Oh, Jess, I have videos of my son speaking sentences, and the next week all words were gone. Jess, that is such a rapid regression. Oh, that makes me sick, Jess. I'm so sorry. I saw something similar with my daughter. It wasn't that extreme, but it was, her responding to her name and imitating words and things like that. And around 14 months, that going away. But development's not linear, and so most of the time when we see regression like that, it goes down and then it'll come back up. I apologize. It goes back up. So that's my daughter is thriving right now. She is doing so well. Okay. Yeah. Do you have any advice on how to understand why skill regressions happen? How to help retain skills? Amy Apple. Yes, I do. The first is understanding that development isn't linear. And that sometimes skill regressions are a natural thing for any child, and it seems to happen quite often with kids with autism. One of the things from the behavior analyst side of me is that behaviors that are not reinforced periodically tend to go away. And so if they could do something and then no longer is that prompted, encouraged, or reinforced, you can see that skill go backwards. So. Oh, yeah. My kid knows songs, but no communication. Tutu, is he repeating the words of the songs? That is a huge indicator, guys. If your child can imitate sounds, but not having functional communication, like that is a really good sign. That is a really good sign. How does it feel like? Okay, man pre TK. Let me tell you a little bit. So a little bit about me is I am not diagnosed with autism, but I have 2 kids with autism. I have a master's degree in autism studies, and I run a company that supports people with autism. So autism is my life. I have a pretty good understanding of what it feels like to have autism, and I want to try something new because I think I'm curious if there are adults here who question if they have autism. And there's a scenario that I like to bring up that helps demonstrate what it might feel like for an autistic adult. An autistic adult might feel like they are on a stage performing a play. And on that stage, you have other actors who have the script, who have prepared. And in the audience, you have people who are clapping and cheering. But you are a lead in that play, but you are not given the script. You are performing a play without a script. And every time that it's your turn to say something, you say it wrong, and people in the audience are judging you. Every time that you do try to say something, you say the wrong thing, and people judge you. And, you were just living life as if you were on a play, performing a play without a script. Yeah, Eve says, I just feel like everyone knows how to live and I don't. Yes. This is so common. It feels like from what the words of people with autism, this is where this comes from, is that it feels like everyone else has the script of what they should be doing in their life, how the conversation should go, how, you go to work and people just know what they're supposed to be doing. Like no one broke it down for me. No one told me what I'm supposed to be doing. Like that is a scary thing. And that's a feeling that a lot of people, that might not be universal, but that's a common feeling that adults with autism can have. Jenny says, it overwhelms me so much. I live in a state of disassociation. Jenny, thank you for sharing that. Kelsey says, my son spoke normally, but very recently he started speaking more like a baby. He's 12 in July. Why? Oh my gosh, Kelsey, that's interesting. What services, what professionals do you have in your life? Does he have a speech therapist? Does he do ABA? Is it school? Like, what are the professionals involved right now? I don't have good insight in this other than like, it might not be a skill regression, but might be, almost like a stimming kind of a thing, that it just sounds cool, that it's fun to talk like that. It may or may not be something that you need to worry about. Echolalia, does that go away? Rena, I will say echolalia can be foundational in learning functional communication, okay? If you echo the things that other people are saying, that makes it so we can then give power to those words. But true echolalia comes with concerns when those words already have those power, they can communicate, they can use them, but they're still echoing everything. And so at that point, that is something a speech therapist or behavior analyst should work with your child on. But if they're just echoing something, just know that can be a natural progression of how language develops. Okay, he goes to ABA 2 days a week. He has a 504 at school as well. Okay, yeah, Kelsey. Is he exclusively doing baby talk, or is it you're just noticing sometimes he does the baby talk, but he can still communicate well? Or are you worried that he's kind of gone backwards and has lost some of his ability to communicate? What age do most start talking? Well, it depends. Depends on the kid. Some never do. Some, language is not delayed from birth. So yeah, it really depends. My kid is 3.5. I'll just tell you about my kids. I have a 3.5-year-old, and he can say some words. He can, you probably saw the video of him saying pizza. That's one word that he definitely can say every time. Pizza! And he's learning more and more words, but he can't really have back and forth conversations. So he's right in the in-between stage right now, and I'm very proud of all the language that he's learning. Host ignoring me. How do I get my autistic 4-year-old son to poop in the potty? I'm sorry to ignore you. I just... If you want a guarantee that I'll read it, pop on over to the YT. I can't say the name on here, but I do read more of those. So, but how do I get my autistic 4-year-old son to poop in the potty? Look, potty training is really hard. It can be very hard. It sounds like your child, though, is already urinating in the toilet. Is that right? My recommendation is it's not going to be one simple trick or plan. You need a written out play-by-play plan of what to do to address this behavior. And that needs to be drafted by professionals. It doesn't need to be you coming up with a solution. And so you need to consult with a board-certified behavior analyst if your child is in ABA, with school, with everyone, and you can further create a plan to do that. Some things that I do when writing those kinds of plans is I put a sitting schedule in place. And you might, require them to sit on the potty and off the potty. A lot of times, if your child still has accidents, doesn't poop in the potty, you want to keep them in a diaper. But there's a lot of professionals who recommend that you don't. It's better that they are uncomfortable and have an accident in underwear so that they can learn to correct that behavior. Then there's some error correction procedures. So get in with your professionals and write down a plan of how you're going to do this. It's probably going to consist of requiring your child to sit on the potty, every 30 minutes or so. Okay. We have some other questions here. Over on YT, hopped over from TikTok. My 16-year-old has her first college tour on Friday. Do you have any recommendations on what to look for or to ask? I want to make sure she'll be accepted and comfortable there. Oh my gosh. Congratulations, Melissa. That is a big deal. Wow, a college tour? What I would look at is what are the accommodations that your child needs to be successful currently in high school, because those are not going to stop in college, those needs. And so some of those conversations on the tour, and just know, like, the people giving you the tour are just other students. Like, you can be honest and ask them anything, and they're not going to impact your child's ability to get accepted to that university. And so, if she needs breaks or, accommodations during testing, you can just ask about, if the students have experience with, the university accommodating some of those things. The other things is be aware that when they take you on the tour, how much does that actually resemble what it's going to be like during school hours? For example, if they take you to the dorm, what is it called? Like where you go and eat, like the cafeteria, and you have a meal plan to eat at the school. If they take you there at, 10 a.m. and classes are going on and it's empty, your kid might think, oh yeah, this is great. It's so quiet here. But if you're there at a peak time, it might be overwhelming. And so just keep in mind that how it looks like on the tour, just be thinking, what might it actually look like at peak times? And is your daughter going to be comfortable there? Can AAC devices be a crutch? You know what, Caitlin, my thought on the AAC devices is that there is research showing that using the AAC devices can actually increase vocal communication. And so I don't look at it as a crutch. I look at it as your child's voice. I am very adamant that you do not. Someone came up here the other day and talked about how the school kept muting the child's AAC device and how unethical that is. You should never mute a child's AAC device. That's akin to putting duct tape over a child's mouth to prevent them from talking. You can tell them to be quiet and that, there's no talking right now, but to physically prevent them from doing so, that's a concern. Cheyenne says, can you help me understand why my 2-year-old is hitting her head, will zone out and just headbang? She has put holes in the wall. Oh my gosh. Okay. Cheyenne, I have follow-up questions for you. Does your child have an autism diagnosis? And number 2, what services are you getting right now? Are you in any therapies? This is something we need to address. You guys, we are very accepting of stimming behavior. flapping your hands, spinning. We love stimming. We will stim with the child. But the moment it goes to head banging or, injuring themselves, we need to address that differently. Oh my gosh. I have someone I worked with in the past who engaged in behaviors like that, specifically some picking at her eyes, and caused significant harm that she was fully seeing, and is now fully blind. Just terrible, you guys. And we don't understand. A lot of it can be the sensory overload that, the brain in that head, so much is feeling and going on all at once. And, hitting that head can be a source of relief. So, yeah, I recommend, no, they said she's too young. She's 2. She can absolutely get an autism diagnosis. You need to go and get that. You got her an early intervention. She starts April. Perfect. You're going to want to talk to the occupational therapist as soon as you can. If you're an ABA, you talk to them too. Occupational therapists have intense knowledge on sensory needs. To me, I would need to do a functional assessment to truly know. But if she hits her head anywhere, and it's like in a room, or if she only does it when she's upset, those are 2 different things. You'd address it differently. If it seems like it's sensory seeking, then that means it would happen everywhere, whether you're there or not, whether she's mad or not. It could happen in a room. It could happen, wherever. And if that's the case, the OT needs to work on some sensory, meeting those sensory needs. Now, if it only happens when you tell her no, or when she can't have something, or when you tell her to do something, then that's more behavioral, that we need to be looking at a behavior plan of how to address those behaviors and reinforce an incompatible behavior, or a behavior that is communication or something, to be able to express her needs. So that's my recommendation. Please consult with your people and get an autism diagnosis. It's not too young. I guess, where do you live? If you're in the United States, definitely not too young. Okay, we got more questions over on the YT. Do you have suggestions on how to get my 6-year-old nonverbal son to stop hitting and biting at school? Oh no, Ashley. How is school supporting your child? What are they doing for him, Ashley? Cheyenne, it's all the time. That means that it is most likely sensory. Obviously, I am not your son's clinician. I cannot officially say things like that. This is just what I would do if I was the parent. I would look at that and say, hey, look, like that to me looks like it's pretty sensory seeking. Are there alternatives for the sensories, or to meet the sensory needs? And that can be things like reinforcing an alternative way to stim, like spinning, may meet that same sensory need. I don't know. Occupational therapists, though, they really excel at that kind of stuff. So hopefully your early intervention consists of that. But Ashley, look, if your child is hitting and biting at school, here's the thing: is a lot of times schools pass the blame onto the parents. They say, hey, look, at school, your kid's biting and hitting. You got to get her to stop doing that. Like, what are you going to do about it? But what you need to understand is that is up to the school to figure out. Like, obviously, you as a mom want to help, you want to support, but they need to be doing a BIP, behavior intervention plan. That will include a functional assessment. They need to identify, why is your child biting? Why is your child hitting? What is the function of that behavior? And then they put a plan in place. They train the teachers, the paras, on how to do that. So what I would do, Ashley, is I would absolutely Okay, he has OT and speech. He's on an IEP, but I feel that the teachers have already labeled him a troublemaker, even though he's special education. They can't find ways to stop him. Okay, Ashley, have they put in place a behavior intervention plan? Do you know if they've done a formal BIP and functional assessment to determine what is the function of the behavior, and how do we replace that behavior with more meaningful and important behavior? That is the approach that has to happen. They have to do a BIP. Okay. All right. Back to the comments over here on TikTok. What age should I assess my son? He's showing symptoms at 19 months. Roro, let me tell you this, earlier the better. We diagnosed my daughter at 19 months. At the same age that your child is right now. And we did that because the earlier you're able to start intervention, the better outcomes. The research is clear on that. I reviewed some data today on that even more important than the number of hours that you get in a week is how long those services go on. And so, I recommend right away. Now, a good first step is to do a screener. Go into my bio. I have the MChat linked that you can go and fill out. It gives you a score of low, moderate, or high risk of autism. And if it's high risk, that means you should be going and calling psychologists in your area and scheduling an evaluation. Moderate means you need to talk to your pediatrician and have some follow-up discussions with your pediatrician. Am says, how do you know symptoms for toddlers? So again, that MChat is designed for toddlers. So go ahead and that'll break down a lot of those symptoms as it asks you the questions. But right now, I'll just tell you some of those symptoms are not making eye contact, not responding to their name, not pointing, not looking where you point, stimming, so like flapping their hands, spinning, climbing on furniture, things like that. So I recommend any concerned parent do the MChat. That is what pediatricians do at 18 months and 24 months. So yeah. All right, you guys, a little bit about myself. If you see this button right here and it still says follow, that means that you have not yet hit that button to follow me. And I'm just going to ask you to do that so that you can find me next time I go live. I'm an autism dad. I got 2 kids with autism, and I'm a professional working in this field. I've been working in this field for over a decade. I run a company right now that has multiple clinics throughout the state of Utah, and I just enjoy being here with you guys. So make sure you're following me so you can find next time that we go live. We still have, we're just halfway done today, you guys. We're going to start bringing up some guests, okay? We're going to start bringing up some guests. So go ahead. If you have a question, go ahead and request up in the chat. We go ahead, we answer questions in the chat, and we have a good time. So, hey, Lazarus, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm a bit sick, so my voice is a bit down, but I'm good
shoot.
other than that.
Where are you from? Where are you calling in from?
I'm from Finland.
Oh, wonderful. Finland. Awesome. What question do you got for me?
Yeah, I have this question because I have a little sister who's autistic,
Yeah.
and well, she's now 33 years old. But I myself, I have an ADHD,
Yeah.
and from what I understood, it is very common for siblings of if there's a autistic child in the family, it's very common that other siblings may have ADHD.
Oh.
So, and from what I know, I have ADHD, and my son also has it. So it goes in the family. Is it same with autism, or how it goes?
Yeah, that is a really good question, Lazarus. So we know that it's very similar to ADHD. We know that autism is 80 to 90% genetic. There are risk factors when a mother is pregnant that can impact autism, but it is largely genetic. So what that means is if you have one child with autism, the chances that your next child is going to be diagnosed with autism is about 20%. Right now, about 1 in 31 kids are diagnosed with autism in the United States. I don't have the statistics worldwide. I don't know how much everyone's diagnosing everywhere. But in the United States, it's 1 in 31. And so that's a 2 to 3% chance in the United States that any child has autism. But it's about 10 times more likely, so 20% chance if they already have a sibling with autism. So it's not a guarantee, but yes, it does. It does increase that likelihood. However, I don't know that same data about like if one has autism, what are the chances that a sibling will have ADHD? I don't know the relationship there. I haven't read that research.
Okay. Because I've always heard that autism comes like from pollution or stuff like that.
Yeah, that's actually one of the
But
risk factors during pregnancy. So some of those risk factors, but again, that's 10 to 20%, right? Like it's largely genetic, but then there are risk factors that can kind of activate those genes or, dictate how it plays out. And one of those is pollution, and another one is like wildfire smoke, and another one is like pesticides, and another one is like premature birth. So things like that, absolutely. Infections in the mother during pregnancy, those things, yes. Now the vaccines, no, that's not actually correlated with autism.
yeah,
But anyway,
well,
Lazarus,
I
thank you
kind
so
of
much. Any other questions or any other thoughts before I move on to the next person?
no. I just wanted to thank you for answering.
Of course, of course.
I've been following your lives for a few days now.
Oh my gosh, Lazarus, that means a lot. Thank you so
Okay,
much for
good
being
night
up
to you.
here. All right, you have a good day. Have a good one. All
Yeah,
right, you
thanks.
guys. What a good guy. What a good guy. And I love reaching everybody across the world too. This is cool. All right. What other questions? Feel free if you want to have a conversation, you can request in the guest box. I will be accepting people over to answer questions, to have discussions. This is good.
Hello,
Well, hi Lily. How are you?
I'm doing great. I have a concern.
Yeah. First, where are you
Uh,
calling in from?
I'm from Pennsylvania,
Wonderful.
in Annville, Pennsylvania. Um, my son currently does have an IEP. He does do early intervention. He has OT and PT. He is a level 3 with elopement. He self harms. He bites me. We
How
get
old is he?
bruises. He'll be 4 May 20th.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's undergoing a procedure March 27th for open heart surgery.
Oh my
And
gosh.
my concern, yeah, it's been tough. My concern is when my son had to get anesthesia to get his echocardiogram because my son will not let you touch him on his face, his head, his body. If it's not me, he doesn't want no one to touch him. So we had to sedate him for the echocardiogram to
Yeah.
confirm if he needed this surgery because he's always been followed with cardiology since he was in my womb.
Yeah.
So we kind of knew what was gonna, be the future for him, crossing, our fingers and always praying to God that he didn't need this procedure. But because he had a horrible turnaround with the sedation where he was not himself, he was so aggressive, he put a hole through my wall. After this heart surgery, like I cannot imagine what my son is going to feel. And I don't know like what to like expect from him. So it's like what are like I'm like concerned like what should I tell the providers at his pre-op that my son had a bad turnaround with sedation, and while he's in the hospital, what are they going to do to help?
Lily, I'm so sorry. Um, wow. Has he is this his first surgery then?
Yes, this is going to be his first surgery.
And I tell you what, he's gonna be in pain and he's gonna not understand it. Um and it just breaks your heart for the little guy, doesn't it?
Yes.
Like you know he's not malicious. Any of these problem behaviors, he's not being malicious. He
No,
is
he's not.
he's living in a world that doesn't understand him and that he
Right.
doesn't always understand. And
And I have 5 boys, and he is my last baby, and this is the first time that I have to deal with autism,
yeah.
and it's been rough, but he's so precious. He is so kind. He's like
Yeah.
likes to be in his own world. So in my house, we adopted him, and that's it. This is his
Yeah.
world, you know.
Yes. That's all we
Um,
do. Let me tell you what I would if I were in your shoes. When is this surgery? When is it
March
scheduled?
27th.
March 27th. You got 11 days.
Hmm.
What I would do is I would call and I'd try to figure out what does that day look like? What does that morning look like? Have a written down plan of what that day looks like. And then what I would do is try to do all that you can to practice some of the things that are going to happen on that day and slowly
Hmm.
build up to make it a little bit less crazy. For example, we do this with cutting hair. That uh, like my son hates getting his hair cut. And so we had a goal that we would put, a buzzer, uh, and we would just have it by him. And then slowly, little by little, we do some systematic desensitization to where he got to the point where he was just giggling a little bit when you were cutting his hair, and it
Hmm.
wasn't something that he'd attack you for. And it took, a couple weeks of working on this, but we were able to do that. And so I think we should look at like what are the aspects that you are most concerned about? Is it the point where they, give an IV? Is it
I'm more concerned because he did great with the IV when he had to go to the hospital because he developed some fluid in his knee, and the doctors right away wanted to say Lyme, and I'm like, no, it's not that. I don't know what happened there,
yeah.
but he had gotten an IV. He did great, with help, of course. We had to kind of hold him down. It was more like the sedation part, like it made
Waking
me
up
feel
from
like,
sedation?
yeah, like he was totally a different person, and because of it, he was angry, and I don't know what
How long was he
went
angry?
through. How long?
Yeah, how long after
Oh,
the
like 4 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Wow. Um do you know what the post-op care is going to look like? Do you know what medicines he's going to be on?
I don't. And I know, like, just the sedation that they had to give my son for the echocardiogram. I'm pretty sure it has to be similar to kind of like with open heart surgery, and I know he's gonna have like this blood transfusion and a whole bunch of other machines on him. Um, so I'm assuming, like, I just feel like just the sedating part of him and waking up and him wanting to like pull things off of him and wanting to get off the bed. Like I'm almost imagining it like that's how it's going to be because that's how it was for that little simple 45-minute procedure.
Yeah, when he wakes up, he's going to be in a panic, confused. He's
Yeah.
going to be trying to pull everything off. Uh, and I've seen them where they'll keep them sedated to a lesser degree, but
Hmm.
just to help them be a little bit more comfortable
With
if
the
they're going to
pain.
be there for a few days. Uh, but those are definite conversations that you need to prep in advance, not the
Yeah.
day of. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't have like I haven't ever been through this. It breaks my heart to be honest. And yeah, I really think that uh, that it might have to be like they're gonna have to keep him safe. They've I'm sure they've dealt with this before, uh, but my understanding is they should be able to kind of maintain the sedation. How long is the hospital stay after the surgery?
They said 3 to 5 days. They like to see 3, but if I'm not comfortable, they might make it 5.
Yeah, and during that time he's gonna be hooked up, right?
Yeah, and then when I bring him home, I'm pretty sure they're kind of like wean him off whatever he has to be, on after the surgery. But bringing him home is gonna probably be the scary part.
Yeah, yeah. Well, bringing him home, like, yes, it's going to be scary. There's going to be other stuff to make it scary, not just the station, but it's
Mhm.
the pain that he might be in
Mhm.
from the surgery. And so, yeah, you just need to uh, make him as comfortable as possible. If you I'm thinking like favorite foods, of course, full access to everything. Don't limit screen time. Like do everything to make him as
Okay.
comfortable as possible. Let him win every power struggle.
Mhm.
This is not the time where he needs to be learning things. This is the time where he needs to be comfortable, and don't feel
Right.
any guilt at all about doing that for the next few weeks after that. Um, but my biggest recommendation: call the surgeon or call the
Mhm.
office and explain the concerns and say like I want a detailed plan of what those like 3 to 5 days are going to look like and what
Right.
the plan is um to prevent him from pulling all of the wires and everything out of him.
Yeah. It's definitely gonna be hard to watch.
It is like my worry is you're not going to be prepared and you go in and they end up like restraining him with like
Right.
handcuffs or something and
Yeah.
like
And that's like I want to prepare them because I feel like some of these professionals they kind of know everything, but they don't live with your child, right? So you're kind of
yeah.
like you're kind of like y- a mom and a father to an autistic child is kind of like the best person to actually listen to,
Yeah.
and they know more. And I'm new to autism world, and I learn every day. I try to
Oh
educate
yeah.
myself as a single mom.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
don't have much resources, but I've gotten him into the schools and things in that nature. um
Wow.
but I just
When
feel
did he
like
get his
sometimes
diagnosis?
he was 19, I think 18 or 19 months.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah,
I
you
think
and
that was
you're
for the MChat month
yeah.
when they do the MChat.
Yeah, at the 18-month appointment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Look, you have a lot on your plate right now, Lily.
Hmm.
You have a child who has a heart condition and needs heart surgery. Like, what is a what are they doing in the heart surgery?
My son was born with two different things. When he was born, they were gonna do immediate heart surgery, but God is so amazing, and He closed up that hole that is supposed to close naturally after giving birth at the top of the heart. I can't remember what it is, but he does have I can't think of it now. Ventricular septal defect, VSD.
Okay.
And he has a leakage on his coronary artery as well, and the triceptic. I might be saying that wrong.
So
The
what are they gonna do during the
they're
procedure then?
gonna close up they're gonna open him up from his chest, and they're gonna close up
The
the
leak?
holes, the leakage there.
Okay.
So, and
Wow.
he also has his right side of his heart is enlarged, and that's that type of diagnosis. It does that. It would make your one side of your heart enlarge, and that's already happening to him. Um, so it's we gotta correct it before you're a certain age, for sure, to avoid any dangers in life.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what he's going through right now. But he's such a great kid. He's amazing. He every day he looks for that bus to go to school since he started, and I
Yes.
love that for
Oh
him.
my gosh, that's the best. That's the best. He shouldn't have to go through this, but also like I want you to recognize that this is hard on you. Like you are going through a lot right now as a single mom,
Yeah.
but crushing it, getting your child diagnosed at the age of 19 months or so, like,
Mhm.
and then getting him all the care that he needs, getting him in school. You're
I
doing.
started his care in Florida. We lived in Florida,
Oh,
and
did you?
I had him in OT and PT at home before he started a school program. And coming back to Pennsylvania wasn't my choice, but my son did elope from home twice, and
Wow.
it was the most scariest thing. Like I found my
Oh.
son in the parking lot drinking water.
Oh.
So I was going through some things, and that's why I came back to be with
Oh.
family and be with supportive
You
people.
made it
And
happen to where you could have a village. That's what you did. Like, and that's what we got
I
to do
did, but I don't
as
know if that ever happened or if that will ever happen, because it's hard for even family to like know what autism is. So it's just kind of like we've been antisocial and we're living in our own little bottle. But I love it. Like I'm not complaining. I'm a mom. I'm a mom before a friend and before anything in this
Of
world. So
course, of course. Look, you welcome to our village. We are, I mean, this is a village here, and I want to hear how things go
Mhm.
in a couple weeks after the surgery. You need to keep us
And yeah, and
posted.
to Mad, I see her comment, and yes, he is strong. And let me tell you, he can run like a criminal. So,
Yes, yes.
so if you know, prayers, prayers, prayers. His name is Isaiah. So if you guys
Oh,
wanna,
yes.
pray for him on his day of surgery, we would very much appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. Join our Facebook group and our Discord chat. Keep us posted. Share pictures of the process. Let
Yes.
us brainstorm with you as it comes up. Like you might not know, like right now, the anxiety comes from all the unknown. There's a lot that you
Yeah.
don't know about that day, but all you have
Right.
to worry about in the moment is that very moment of how to make
Right.
him as comfortable as possible. And
Yeah.
you being the mom are going to know exactly how to do that. And so
Right.
trust your mom instincts there. You're going to be able to comfort him even with his unique challenges and just keep us posted. I mean, we're a village here. So I appreciate
Right.
you coming up and sharing your story, Lily.
Yep. No, I appreciate you allowing me. So
All right, have a good one.
thanks.
Oh my goodness, you guys, that's a lot. Really, you're in our prayers, Lily, for sure. Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and I'm going to answer some questions, you guys, that you are typing in. We're going to pause on the guest invites for just a minute, and we're just going to answer some questions. Lego Dude, first time in here, love it already. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. We go live every day around noon Eastern time, and we talk autism. We're positive vibes only. We're supportive. We are a village. It's okay to recognize that things are hard in the autism community, but we can also recognize the beauty of autism. I want us to take a minute and have some celebrations. Who has a celebration about their child that they would like to share? Who has something they can celebrate about their kid? I want to hear it. I want to hear a celebration. I will tell you one. My daughter started doing the cutest thing yesterday. She has autism. She's almost 2 years old. And when we were singing the Wheels on the Bus to her, and as soon as we finished a verse, she claps her hands and she goes, "Yay, I did it." And I don't know where she learned that. I've never heard her say that word. She just knows a few words, but as soon as we're done singing, she goes, "Yay, I did it." And she just started doing that yesterday. So anyway, I wanted to celebrate that. What celebrations do you guys have about your children? Kristen says, my son just graduated speech and occupational after 5 years. Hey, Kristen, congratulations. Enta says, first time also a mom to an awesome boy. I love that. Welcome in. Matt says, do you think boys get diagnosed earlier than girls typically? Yes, they do. Girls tend to mask earlier than boys do. So, yeah, you see that quite often. Absolutely bad. Absolutely. My son is trying to figure out the shape sorter box. He just recently started playing with toys. Caitlin, I love that. And there's stages to this. Kids with autism, they start getting interested in toys and they'll line them up. They'll hit them together. They'll throw them. But then there's a new stage of playing with toys that we're always pushing our kids to go to. And that is like playing with the toys as they're designed to play with. Like hold a doll and pretend that they're rocking a baby, or do a puzzle and solve it, or sort the shapes in the box like you're talking about, Caitlin. It's a different level. Okay, other things. My son is now talking to me, asking for what he wants, making choices. It's my first time in here. Shan, thank you so much for being in here. Welcome to the village. Welcome to the village where we talk about autism, the Space to Thrive village. All right, my child is allowing me to read next to her. Oh, that's a huge step. Without running off with a book. Oh my gosh. Rada says, my son is fully potty trained at 6 years old. That's big. Congratulations. Oh my gosh. I love that so much. And Enta says, fully potty trained at 7 years old. Love it. Love it. Let's see. Our son is graduating high school in June. He's autistic and developmentally delayed. Hey, Lego dude, congratulations. Congratulations. That's a big deal. Successful Saturday morning at the park with no meltdowns. First time ever in 6 years. No meltdowns. Not even when it was time to come home. That's always the hardest part, is getting them off the playground. Destiny says, I need to know the science behind something Hudson's doing. Destiny, we can chat. I'll bring you up here in a minute. Don't even start. I can't wait until he lets me read. Oh, yes. Autistic Dope Dwarf says, love to talk to you sometime about some of the stuff, but I'm 47, just found out autism and my family. I think you're going to finish that here in a minute. You encouraged me to get insurance. Kids start ABA next month. Should I witness the sessions? Oh, Lamera. Okay. Look, you should absolutely, as much as you can or want to, observe the sessions. Be pretty hands-off and let them do their thing. Trust that they're doing it well. But it is good. It is good for them to know that you're watching. That doesn't mean watch every session. Sometimes that means stay, 15 minutes after you drop them off, or go 15 minutes early to pick them up. If you're at home, stick around and observe a little bit. Absolutely. Well done getting ABA organized. Oh, Christine, my 2-year-old grandson kissed me for the first time the other day, and I literally cried. Christine, oh my gosh. I love that. Lego says, yeah, he's excited, but bummed school is over. Bless his heart. What's next for him, Lego dude? What's next? I got to know. Jamie says, my client can put together a 100-piece puzzle. Woo! That's great. Yeah, I don't know why TikTok limits our characters. Yeah. Both my biological and non-biological family don't talk about it, don't acknowledge it, and told me, oh, autistic dope. It sounds like you got diagnosed with autism and your family is not acknowledging it. That is so frustrating. All right. I want to know a little bit about. Let's do this. We got new people in here. It's okay to do this sometimes. I want to. Where is everyone from? Can everyone put the state that they're in? If they're outside the U.S., put the country that they're in. Let's go ahead and flood this chat with where you're from. I want to know some of the demographics here of who we're talking to. Arizona, Alabama, Oklahoma, Michigan, Maryland, Jamaica, Sweden, Las Vegas, Toronto, Canada, Colorado, Kentucky, Texas, Australia, UK, Nevada, UK, Texas. Whoa! Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? KB? A money gun? That means the world. Thank you so much. I don't get gifts very often, and it really means a lot when people do. Thank you so much. I didn't expect my daughter to come from school with her diary written that she fights other kids. Oh no, Janet, really? Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, UK, Uganda, California, Kentucky, Washington, Texas. Guys, we're all over the place. Oh my gosh, Lily, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. Okay. England. Okay, so we're all over the place. You guys. That's great. Guyana. Wonderful. My younger brother is in grade 11. When he read his book, sometimes he goes another room and starts playing and washing machine. He is very emotional. Yeah, a lot of times, Mackington, look, you're an autism sibling. And I love that you're here talking about autism. Autism siblings are incredible, okay? I love autism siblings. And I want you to have a lot of empathy and understanding for them. Sometimes, the world is loud to our autistic friends, and they need to go in the other room and be quiet. My son, okay, let me ask you guys this. Do your kids, put yes in the chat if your kids do this, your autistic kids. Do your kids like being buried? Like, not buried, but like covered or like, I don't know, like in a tent or like concealed. Like my son will jump on my bed and go and get all of our pillows and go underneath the pillows, or he will like try to find the like tight spaces that he can fit under and kind of hide. Yeah, that's interesting. My son has done that a long time, and that's why we got him like the bed that he has is kind of like a tent bed. It looks like a Jeep, but it's like covered with like a tarp, and he can go and hide in there, and he loves it. But yeah, the sensation of being confined. Okay, yes, that's the way to put it. The sensation of being confined. What is that? What is that? Is that the proprioceptive sensory stuff, Melissa? Yeah. You mean like get under stuff like it's a cave or underground hole? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. No, my grandson doesn't like to be covered, but he likes little tiny spaces. Okay. Yeah. Similar. Very similar. It's okay if not everything. Look, there's a lot of overlap with autism, but not every little thing that someone with autism does, the other people do as well. It's okay. It's okay to not have all of it. Oh, Lily says, but not cuddled. Yeah, that's hard. My son, it has to be on his terms. I cannot initiate the cuddling. Oh, Hema says, how can I help my kid's 4-year-old to control her emotions? Oh, Hema, that's a good question. And a good way to phrase this is, how do we help them regulate? Kids with autism, they get upset for good reasons. And to know how to help support them, you have to know, why are they getting upset? First, what does it mean to control their emotions? How do you know if their emotions are out of control? Are they yelling? Are they hitting? Let's define what that target behavior is. And then after you define what that target behavior looks like, then I want you to document, when does it happen? Does it happen after you ask her to do something? Does it happen all the time regardless of what you do? Does it happen when she can't have something that she wants? And identify what are the situations where it is happening. And then you can go from there to say, what skill can I teach my child that helps them meet that need? Guys, this reminds me of a post I made today, and I don't know if it offended people. I don't know. I haven't checked it. I haven't been on in a while, but something I've been thinking about a lot is this idea of spanking kids. And I made a post, and it was kind of a bold claim because I know a lot of people, really good people, who spank their kids. And so sometimes I want to be cautious about how I talk about this. But I made a post essentially claiming that spanking your kids is the caveman approach to parenting, and that there is a much more intellectual, challenging way and more effective way of building your child and supporting your child. And it involves just what I was just explaining here, identifying why is a behavior happening and what skill can I teach them to make it so that problem behavior doesn't have to happen. And so I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Do you agree with me, yes or no, that spanking is the caveman approach to parenting? Or like yes, no, or maybe. I'm okay if there's some middle ground here. You don't have to be all on the same page. I'm open to your disagreeing, but it's just what I observe. It is the yeah. Yeah. It's parenting's hard, you guys, and you throw autism into there and it gets really complex. Let's see here. Okay, for those of you just coming in, let me do another quick introduction, you guys. Quick introduction. So my name is Kylan. I live in Utah. I'm an autism dad. I work with kids with autism. I'm a board certified behavior analyst. And I go live every day to come and talk about autism. I advocate for autism. I advocate for autism parents. I advocate for autistic people. And I go live every day. So if it still says follow right there, it means you have not yet made the decision to hit follow. We go live usually at noon Eastern time for a couple hours. We're coming kind of towards the end, but we still got a little bit of time. Do we want some friends to come up here? Let's see. Lexi, Destiny, Bad. Did that work? No. Let's see here.
Frame here.
Hey Lexi, hey Destiny, hey Bad. How are you guys doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I am good.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. I didn't sleep well last night, you guys. I didn't sleep well. I went to bed and my thoughts were racing. I couldn't get to sleep. I think what it was is I took a Sunday nap and made it hard to fall asleep. So now I'm tired. But how are you guys doing? Anyone have anything interesting going on?
We are going to look at a truck this afternoon for Eli.
Ooh, what kind of truck?
Well, originally we were looking at an F-150, and now we're looking at a Ram 1500. We've had one car for the last couple of years, and it's just with Eli's work and therapy and getting the boys up and dropping him off at work. It's just been a nightmare.
Yeah.
So long overdue. But I wanted to ask you about something because Hudson has started doing this, and I'm like, there's got to be some kind of behavioral science behind this.
Oh, let's hear it.
So I have a cup that I use every single day. It's my designated water cup. And our love seat has cup holders. And today I put my water in the left cup holder so that I could put my coffee in the right cup holder. And it pissed him off. Every single, he would go over and he'd switch them. My water had to be in the same cup holder that it was always in. And if I moved it, he would have a full-blown meltdown.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's I think that we have all probably seen that. I'm trying to think of specific examples of things like that. I do have examples, but that's actually part of the diagnostic criteria for autism is that rigidness to routine. I'm curious in the chat if your kids have done something similar to where there's they get upset about something that's different or changes. Put it in the chat. I want to know what examples there are. I can think of one. We changed our rug out recently in our main room, and it was while he was sleeping that we did it. And so he came out, and he was not happy about it. He noticed immediately. He went right over and he started touching it with his foot. He was very concerned, and it took him a day or so to adjust to the new change. But
I think that's what we talked about the other day. We're looking in the next year or two to buy a newer, bigger house because when we bought this house, we weren't having any kids, and now we're at max capacity. So
yeah.
I'm kind of deathly afraid to buy a new house. This is the only house he's ever been in, and when we took him to the Airbnb at Christmas to be with family, that did not go well. He was up until 1 o'clock in the morning. We even took his safety bed with us. And he was so dysregulated the entire time. We were there for several days and he just never adjusted. It was really bad.
Wow. I'm seeing a comment here that I need to address real quick. Peaches, leucovorin has been approved by FDA. Let me kind of just explain that really quick because I don't want people thinking that is accurate. Leucovorin was approved for a rare genetic condition, not for people with autism or those indicated by the FRAT test. I'm still excited. It's still a promising thing, but the research isn't there yet to widely recommend it to others. And so just be cautious about that. The FDA approval is expected to impact less than a couple hundred people in the United States with this genetic condition. So this is not the approval that a lot of people were waiting for or hoping for at this time. Thought I'd clarify that. Destiny, the truck that you guys are looking at getting, you got to have a second vehicle. And man, I like I don't know if you're gonna have more kids, but we bought buy my pickup truck. I have an F-150, and I have to get the very cheapest model because that's the only one that has the bench seats, so that we can have all 6 people in the truck. Otherwise, if you have the center console, there can't be a seat in the middle. It's only seats 5. But
I think I've always wanted 3 kids, and I always wanted to try for a girl. Like, in my mind, I picture us with a little girl, but the older Hudson's getting, the more I'm realizing that his support needs are permanent. Like, when he was diagnosed, I think part of me was like, not that he would grow out of it, but I guess I was in denial that his support needs were going to be so high for so long. And, you know, at his age, we don't know if he's going to be living with us forever, or if we're going to have to spoon feed him for the rest of his life or change him. You know, we don't know what his life's going to look like. And I feel like it would be unfair to him and for us to add something else to our plate until, you know, we know what his life's going to look like. And so much of it is therapy. And I want to give him as much support as we can. And because we have no family and a very small village, I think it'd be unfair to do that now. We're not like anti, we're not saying that we're not going to, but it's definitely not a for sure like it used to be.
Yeah. That's a good point. And you know, it's always fun to get a new vehicle anyways, so if it's your family now, then
yeah, I'm just happy to have 2 vehicles, because he's also gone a lot. So he's going to be gone most of May and all of June. So he's going to have his own vehicle, because you cannot leave me here with these kids with no way to get out of the house.
Gosh,
otherwise, you're going to have to pick me up from my grippy sock vacation. I can't do it. I can't. He leaves at least once a month for about 5 days at a time. So yeah, it is not good. I need to be able to get out of the house, even if that means like walking around Target or, you know, just
is he
going to get a coffee.
Is this National Guard? What is the?
So he is National Guard, but he's been on active duty orders for 6 years.
Oh,
so
how
he
are you
works
guys feeling
full-time.
about things right now? Is he at risk of being deployed?
So he would be. Thank God he is injured, so he's considered non-deployable at the moment. So.
So glad
That's funny.
I've always told him, like, we met, I was in the Army, that's how we met. And I always told him that if he were ever going to get deployed, that I would break all of his fingers so that he couldn't go, or I would just run him over with my car, or lock him in the basement, or, you know, I would do something so he didn't have to go. But now he's non-deployable. He's always had back problems, but he jumps out of planes, so that's not helped it. And yeah, so he's got arthritis in his spine, 2 bulging discs, neuropathy, all kinds of back issues that make him non-deployable. So I am incredibly grateful for that.
Yes. All right. Yeah, that's a good thing. I'll take that.
I know that sounds terrible. I'm so glad he's hurt. That's so wrong.
Well,
we do have a family member. Your live content is flagged for violation, behavioral, and criminal
I have
activities.
To remove you.
What?
Guest violation warning. Has violated our violent behaviors and criminal activities policy. Okay. Sorry, Destiny. I was ending here pretty soon anyway. We'll that'll be okay. Well, Bad or Lexi, do either of you guys have things you want to touch on before we end for the day?
Well, we were at occupational therapy, and my son actually got on a machine that he's been scared of since we started occupational therapy. We've tried to get him on like 10 times. And he's never gotten on it, and today he got on it all by himself, not even any prompting or anything. So I'm excited about that.
That's a win.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Oh.
Kylan, we just got my granddaughter's diagnosis last week.
Oh, yeah.
She had her evaluation.
Yeah, how was that? How are you guys feeling about it?
Very emotional. The first couple days, now acceptance is setting in, and just wanting to do everything I can to support her
Yeah.
to the best I can.
Yeah.
So she's
How
going to
old is
get
she?
30 hours of ABA. She'll be 3 in June.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. This is perfect. You already have ABA set up then?
Well, we're working on that because, like I said, she just got the diagnosis last week, but she's been in speech therapy since she was 2. She started occupational therapy 2 weeks ago, and I'm seeing new things out of her. Of course, every day, every week, she's trying to use utensils herself to feed herself,
Yes.
and new words. And I actually got a kiss from her for the first time about 2 weeks ago.
I love that. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it was
Look,
amazing.
you're gonna be so amazed at how quick the progress comes. Like as soon as you start these therapies, I mean these little milestones, it's gonna surprise you. Especially like I love it when my son comes home and he has learned something without me being the one helping teach it. Like him learning how to, he can say his birthday, and it like blows my mind. And he learned that in ABA, and he can come home and share what he has learned like that. So I'm excited for you guys. Very excited. Keep us posted on how the progress goes, and hopefully you can find a good remind me where you live.
I live in Tucson.
Tucson. Okay.
We're neighbors.
Right? Lexi and I are.
Yeah, I invited her to the event. Hopefully you go with your granddaughter.
Absolutely. We'll be there with bells on, Lexi.
Good. I'll be there too, since I'm one of the people that organizes it every year. So yeah.
Yeah, it'll be our first event and first of many.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
That's great. Okay. Well, guys, it has come to an end today. We will go live again tomorrow for a couple hours. Thank y'all for being part of this village. Make sure that you're following so you can find me tomorrow. The follow button's just right there. And do the little heart me things too. That helps get it out later. And yeah, thank y'all for being here. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love and the positivity that's in here for each other, the support for each other. And thank you guys. If it was your first time here, please come back. You're welcome here. You're loved here. It's a safe place. And yeah, we will check in tomorrow, everybody. Thank you guys for being here.
Bye. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.